Battered but proud people of the Empire State. From the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and we've got Bob Savage with us.
Yes, indeed we do. Welcome to, we're very pleased to have you back, Andrew.
Yeah, it took a couple personal days. Glad that Kevin was able to take care of things yesterday, and good to be back and back on the air. And while I was gone, it seems that politics hasn't stopped doing its thing. People haven't stopped doing its thing, and there's just a lot going on. We got a lot to talk about today.
Well, it's a good thing because otherwise we'd have to stop doing the show. See,
I know.
We have to do a show every day, and if we don't have Andrew Cuomo and Jerry Nadler and Schumer and the Democrats' nutty virtual convention and all the other stuff going on in the state, we can't talk about sports because there aren't any.
Yeah, so. Well, maybe we play like virtual Yahtzee and do like a play-by-play voiceover or something like that. I don't know.
There's a new concept.
See, nobody's done that, probably because nobody would listen. But that's besides the point. So, you guys know I really like Second Amendment issues. They're very important to me, near and dear to my heart. And I saw something that was just really exciting, kind of gave me like a little bit of hope here. And I wanted to share it with you guys because I think it's a discussion. Well, people should know about it, first and foremost. I think it will give us a little bit of motivation of some stuff that we can do here in New York. And then it's just something great to talk about and know about. So what happened a few days ago is that a federal court ruled against California's magazine capacity limit. So for those of you who may not be aware, in the state of California, they have a very similar magazine capacity limit to New York State, where it's limited to, I believe it's 10 rounds. There's no grandfathering. There's this whole issue here. And so it's basically the same situation as New York, except the difference is this federal court, I think it was the the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, took that ban and threw it out. They said it is not constitutional. And I do have a couple quotes here from the judges as a part of their brief. So the first one is, even well-intentioned laws must pass constitutional muster. California's ban on magazines holding more than 10 bullets strikes at the core of the Second Amendment, the right to armed self-defense.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely. And then they talk in the brief. They talk about how the law was passed, in the wake of heart-wrenching and highly publicized mass shootings, but it doesn't justify the scope. And in quotes, it is so sweeping that half of all magazines in America are now unlawful to own in California.
That's right.
Yeah. So
similarly
this
in New York, can we just point out, please?
Yeah. So I think this is really good news. Anybody who's a Second Amendment supporter, hopefully hears this and thinks, oh, hey, if it can happen in California, it could happen here.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. By the way, so Andrew's just given you a piece of good news, ladies and gentlemen, and now I'm going to give you a piece of better news. And that is, we're referring to the Ninth Circuit, which has historically been a really loony kind of circuit. At one point, 86% of their decisions that were appealed were reversed on appeal. Because they're an extremely activist circuit. It's also an enormous circuit because the Ninth Circuit covers, I believe it's 8 states in the West. And so their decisions carry a lot of weight. The other circuit courts, which comprise the rest of the circuit courts in the United States, watched the Ninth Circuit a lot. So it also had a disproportionate influence on precedent because that's the way the legal system works. They look for precedent to decide new cases. Donald Trump has done a fantastic job of repopulating the Ninth Circuit with judges who are much more conservative, and this is why you're getting all of a sudden different decisions out of the Ninth Circuit. I believe, last I checked, I think Trump had appointed 3 times as many justices. Retiring, justices go away, have to be replaced. I think that he has replaced 3 times the number of justices in his first term that Obama placed on the bench in the Ninth Circuit during his 8 years in office. So Trump has really done a number on the Ninth Circuit. There's been a big discussion, predating Trump, by the way. Trump gets this hung on him. But predating when Trump became elected president, that really the Ninth Circuit needs to be split up because it's just, it's just turned into this unwieldy monster, and they have an enormous caseload. So Trump's done, this is not to be forgotten by voters as they head to the polls this November, what Trump has done with the Ninth Circuit, and there's more to come.
Yeah, and so what I thought was really interesting is that now the state of California is trying to figure out if they're going to appeal this ruling to a higher court. So I guess this case was heard by 3 justices, but the next level up, there's 11 justices that would hear that. Does that ring true to you, Bob?
Yeah, I'd have to look at. I mean, I don't know what the trajectory of that is. So there's a Circuit Court of Appeals out there.
Oh, there's an appellate panel.
Right.
It looks like.
Yeah, exactly. So it would go to that, and then after that, it would go to SCOTUS, I would imagine.
Yep.
But
that's
it's still a the message has been received in the Ninth Circuit.
Yeah. So what's interesting is I read a different article that said that since this passed, so this ruling came out, I think it was 4 or 5 days ago. It came out on Friday. That since then, over 1 million standard capacity magazines have found their way into the state of Florida in just these last 4 days.
In Florida?
So, yeah, or California. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So for those of you who are wondering what the significance of that is, gun control advocates will call a standard capacity magazine a high capacity magazine.
Right.
Words matter. They change what it means. So they're saying, oh, they're banning high capacity magazines. Those are actually the magazines that were designed to work with a firearm from the manufacturer's intent. And then these laws have put manufacturers and third parties in a situation where they had to kind of make this crippled version to give out in states like New York and California.
Yeah, not as safe and really stupid and beside the point because, okay, so you can only put 10 rounds in your handgun, and then you got 1 in the chamber, so that's a total of 11. Like somebody can't push the button, drop the mag out, slap another fully loaded mag in. The process takes 1.5 seconds. It's like picking up a pencil.
Yeah. It's very, very quick, and there is no limit to how many magazines you can carry on yourself. So it's all just, a bunch of political rigmarole.
Well, it's feel-good stuff. It's this window dressing. It's like, oh, we did something about gun violence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what happens is these people with the anti-Second Amendment agenda have changed the terminology that's used in the media. They've changed standard capacity magazines into calling them high capacity magazines, which makes it sound very scary to people that don't know much about firearms. And so now what's happening is that all this stuff is flooding into California, and people are not dying.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Isn't that kind of crazy?
I mean, you would think that California would look like Chicago by now, but it thankfully has not. It's just I guess California has suddenly realized, or at least the judiciary has, that hardware does not kill people. People kill people.
Yeah.
And I hold up Chicago as an example. And
Yeah,
New York
no,
State,
absolutely.
New York City, by the way, where shootings are up 176% over last year. 176%.
Yeah, yeah, that's just like wow, and once again, it's not like that equipment made that happen. That just happens to be the case, based on people. And if you look at any of these places where you're seeing it's going up like crazy, usually Democrat leadership. And that's what we're going to talk about when we come back. We're going to take a break here, and I want to talk to you guys about what's going on in Rochester, my hometown, and how it seems like they're going to try to blame guns again. It's kind of confusing. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Escape from the everyday to a getaway at Woodcliff Hotel and Spa. Woodcliff features elegantly appointed accommodations, creative cuisine, themed suites, full-service spa Elan, and is Rochester's best venue for outdoor wedding receptions overlooking the city skyline. Woodcliff Hotel and Spa, where the experience is extraordinary. Located in Fairport, call 585-381-4000 or visit woodcliffhotelspa.com.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. And, I've got a headline to read for you guys. It is "A Night of Violence Brings a Call for Change." And before I opened this article, before I even read it, I already knew exactly what was going to be in it. I knew because I've seen this article, this similar type of title, this description even, many, many times over the years. Usually pops up every, 3 to 6 months or so. And it goes something along the lines of somebody got shot, somebody got injured, some bad person did a terrible thing. And what we're going to do as a city is blame the piece of equipment used.
Yes, guns.
Yep.
It's gun violence, which is
Yeah.
I detest the term gun violence, by the way, because it's another one of these manufactured terms that the left likes to haul out, and they just hang out in the trees and wait for something bad to happen so they can blame it on guns. It's criminal use of firearms, ladies and gentlemen. That's what is killing and maiming people. The criminal use of firearms.
Yeah, and it's odd to me that guns um, end up with this type of terminology because we've now had over the last, I'll call it 5 years, multiple instances where protests or rallies or something along those lines have happened, and people have taken cars and drove vehicles straight through and killed people. But I don't hear about vehicular violence or auto violence. And when those things happen, they're ready to blame the person for their actions. But for some reason, for whatever reason, when it comes to firearms, it's the gun's fault. The gun makes you evil somehow and makes you want to just be violent and go out and kill people. I'm not really sure. I don't follow the logic, but this type of article pops up time and time and time again to the point where it's almost comical.
Right.
And it's like the same thing. I like you could go and probably go to any newscast website in the Rochester area, and if you could go through their archives, I mean, you would just see the pattern that keeps coming up and coming up, and the exact same things. A city official or some elected official gets interviewed to talk about what change needs to happen to fix this in the community, and it's always gun control, more gun buybacks, getting illegal guns off the street, stronger police presence. Insert those things here. More control, less freedom, constantly, every single time. It's so predictable. It happens every time. If that was going to work, why do we have the problem?
Well, getting illegal guns off the street is a good idea. I'm totally in favor of that. What I'm not in favor of is taking guns away from lawful firearms owners who have a negligible crime rate when it comes to misuse of firearms and the commission of crimes. Actually, the stat that has been a long-standing one, a valid one, is that law enforcement officers, you got to be careful about this in this day and age, law enforcement officers commit more crimes than registered gun owners. But right now we're in the mode of, supporting our men and women in blue. So I hesitantly point that out, but it is a telling statistic. And I think people have, Andrew, I think people have gotten smarter since the SAFE Act has been passed, because they realize that this is all a bunch of hokum. That this is a political agenda that's being pushed, and it bears no resemblance to the truth about licensed gun owners.
Yeah, no, I agree. And one thing I do want to throw out there when we talk about taking illegal guns off the streets, the government's idea of an illegal gun and my idea of an illegal gun, we've got some issues, because we've got the SAFE Act in New York, for example, which makes firearms illegal that, to be honest, I don't think firearms should be illegal. I think that there's very few instances where somebody should be prevented from owning a firearm, and in very few instances that they shouldn't be able to acquire one. So when I hear the government say taking illegal guns off the street, what they're saying is they want people to feel comfortable. But what I feel like they mean, especially coming out of Albany, is that we'll just keep doing this and making all the guns illegal, and taking the illegal guns off the street is just like kicking in people's doors and taking eventually hunting rifles. I mean, that's what we're down to at this point in New York.
Well, it's, once again, we have the disconnect between reality and the political rhetoric that comes out of Albany. And a perfect example of this is Governor Headcase, a.k.a. Cuomo, and his rhetoric lately about how somehow he has this is, if you tell a lie that's big enough and you do it with enough conviction, a certain number of people will believe that with repetition. So now he's on the offensive about his nursing home disaster, By the way, the Associated Press is reporting that business about 6,500 patients in nursing homes dying from COVID is bunk. It's closer to 11,000. If the AP says 11,000, you know it's 16,000. But, Cuomo's out there pushing himself as some kind of a policy leader when it comes to the control of COVID. And I'm not trying to change the subject here because I'm relating this back. He also sees himself as some kind of a pace setter when it comes to reducing what he calls gun violence. Really? 176% increase in shootings in New York City? I don't think those shootings were committed by licensed handgun owners.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And this is kind of the pattern that we see. Something happens, politicians react, the media runs a story, we go for stricter gun control. And when I say we, I don't mean we at us at all. I mean, elected officials who don't represent our values. And what ends up happening is we lose a little bit more liberty, a little bit more of our rights. And oh, by the way, the root issue doesn't get fixed. And that, I think, is the biggest issue here. And I do want to give some credit to Mary Lupian, who sits on city council. Her and I agree sometimes, but not so often on policy. And I want to give her credit because she pointed out very rightly that the issues here, there are other things going on. For example, economic issues causing problems due to what's going on with COVID. Now, she didn't go on to say whether or not she believes that the policies put in place by the governor are causing these economic issues. But I will say that, yeah, as economics get bad, people commit more crime.
Right.
So if you're looking at gun control as the answer, it's not. You should be looking at economics.
Well, and what's the key to having an economic resurgence in the state? Open businesses back up. We're in phase 4. My understanding of phase 4, going back 4 months now, is that's when everything opens back up. Phase 4 means back to normal. So why do we still have all these ridiculous restrictions? The COVID thing, in case nobody's noticed, it's dying off. It's just like it's tapering off to nothing. I was at a gathering last night of, a number of people. Nobody was wearing a mask. Nobody in the room was wearing a mask. So I think that it's very important for people to realize that we need to get the economy back. We need to try to resuscitate our small businesses, which are the lifeblood of the economy in the state. That is going to do more to fix the socioeconomic problems and the violence than anything else.
Yeah,
but
it's
completely contrived at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And when people are pressed and they feel like they have nothing to do, nowhere to go, they resort to violence. So I wanted to give her credit for that. Another thing that she brought up that I think is important to mention is she also addressed this curfew that the mayor put on the city, banning gatherings that you can have at your own home, and how that's pushing people out of their homes onto the streets, going to the bars or wherever where the curfew doesn't apply. And it's just a great example of government stepping in and saying, I know better, and then causing terrible damage to the community, terrible damage to the economy, and to be honest, damage to people's lives, because now people are resorting to violence and they're killing each other. I mean, that's what's happening because of these awful, terrible policies. And then at the end of the day, they want to say, maybe we need stricter gun control. Maybe they'll fix it this time. And it's not going to work, guys.
Well, if they believe that, they're delusional, because it's never worked.
Yeah. But what's mind-blowing to me is that people do believe it. And maybe not these specific elected officials, but their followers and their supporters believe it.
Well, they may not believe. In some cases, they may believe it. I think a lot of people don't believe it. They just cynically use it as an opportunistic way to try to grab more of our constitutional rights, because that's what the left does. The left is all about control.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Guys, you are listening to Radio Free New York. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, I got to tell you, Cuomo is just, He's always got something for us to talk about. We've got a couple Cuomo things to talk about, and if you thought his poster and his painting were bad, you guys just wait. We've got some more for you. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
More than twice the power.
WYSL.
More powerful FM 92.1, FM 95.5 West, and 1040 AM WYSL Avon Rochester.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center. We're looking at temperatures in the 50s tonight into tomorrow, sitting under clear skies and dry conditions. Thursday, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures in the upper 70s. Will stay dry through our Friday. Looking at sunshine, but temperatures back into the 80s. The heat and the humidity will be on the rise for the weekend ahead. Saturday, plenty of sunshine, remaining dry. Then Sunday, a few scattered showers will pop up in the afternoon. This is Samantha LaRocca for WYSL.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
There's a place in the village of Avon you and your critters will love. Whether they're big or small, whether they've got hair, fur, or feathers, Avon Feed fits every need. There's a full selection of pet foods for dogs and cats, bird feeders, suet, and dry shot boots and garden shoes. They've got grass and clover seed too. Check out our frequent flyer birdseed program. Buy 10 bags of birdseed, get the next bag free. Choose farm feeds and great equine products like Blue Seal and Neutrina, plus Poland drains. Everything for your pet, from feeding bowls to toys, leads, collars, and tie-outs. Avon Feed and Supply has what the big pet chain stores will never have. Tim Cole and his great knowledgeable staff. And if you think you'll save money at that pet superstore, well, think again. While you're at Avon Feed, don't forget the two-legged pets with River Rat Thousand Island cheese and great flavors, including hard-to-find mean and nasty, plus once again nut butters, Nunday mustards, Dan's garlic, and Rickles pickles. Open weekdays 9 to 6, Saturday 9 to 4. Avon Feed and Supply, West Main Street at the bottom of the hill, just west of the Circle.
At Victor Chevrolet, we want you to know we are here for your transportation needs. Our factory-trained specialist in the Victor Service Department can expertly handle any repair. Our concierge service can arrange for pickup and delivery of your vehicle if you choose. We're here for repairs, maintenance, inspections, warranty work, and recalls. Victor Chevrolet can help no matter where you bought your car or truck. And if you need a new vehicle, Victor can sell you a car virtually on our website, victorchevrolet.com, or at our store. Call 869-6196. Trade-ins, financing, leasing. They're all available remotely and at your convenience. We're here to fully serve Chevy customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Depend on Victor Chevrolet, here for you with sales or any service issue, no matter where you bought your vehicle. Give us a call at 869-6196 or visit victorchevrolet.com. You can depend on the team at Victor Chevy for all your transportation needs, now and in the future.
Excuses are in abundance these days. From zombie cicadas and murder hornets eating homework to plagues canceling class, your kids will need all the help they can get staying in touch this year. Why not solve that pesky old phone's dead issue with a high-quality, complete portable power system that charges out of the clear blue sky? Soul Green Energy is now offering buy two, get one free on the Essential Mini Sun Charger Bundle. Just use coupon code PHONEHOME. That's Phone Home today. And remember, if you're not looking for that much power, the exclusive 20% off WISL coupon code UNITED. That's United still stands. Here at Soul Green Energy, we offer the best sustainable systems available to make sure you're never SOL again. SoulGreenEnergy.com.
Mary Cariola Center's Walking on Sunshine fundraiser is on September 18th through the 20th, and we salute our corporate sponsors like Oaks Construction. Family-owned and operated, Oaks Construction has been providing home improvement solutions to the Rochester community for nearly 20 years. Roofing services, solar panels, windows, doors, and more. Oaks Construction is committed to providing customers with work that's done thoroughly and efficiently, on budget and on time every time. For a contractor that's fully licensed, insured, and experienced, visit oaks-construction.com.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. Before I share with you guys Cuomo's latest work of art, I guess we'll call it, Bob was telling me that Cuomo is actually kind of interjecting himself into the crime issues that are happening in Rochester and other cities across the state, and he's putting together some executive orders and some other stuff. Bob, what's going on with that?
Well, we got Cuomo has taken note over the weekend, the past weekend, of the shootings, of course, which are up vastly throughout the state. We already noted earlier in the program 176% increase in New York City, up 54% in Rochester, up 66% in Buffalo. I would imagine with all the Antifa and Black Lives Matter violence that takes place, that similar numbers in other cities, other population centers. So what is Cuomo's reaction to this? Well, it's another executive order. Okay, I guess we've dispensed altogether with the legislature. We just don't bother with passing.
You know,
we don't need to pass no stinking laws. So he's got a new executive order on policing that he wants to impose on everybody. He wants police departments. He's put forth the word to police departments across the state to come up with a plan addressing. Get ready to take notes. Use of force by police. Use of force by police. Okay, that I believe that's also known as enforcing the law. But he wants to send a little memo out to all the police departments that, that may not be the best thing for you to do in his vision. He wants police departments to address community policing. So I think that is tantamount to saying, we got to have more social workers out there when it's time for somebody to be arrested. We need to send out, an MSW or a CSW to just talk to everybody, because that's what the left does. They think that's how you get things done, is you talk about stuff. Remember Barack Obama, the beer summits and everything else? It was all about talk. Bias awareness. See, so what that is implicitly is a suggestion that all police departments have bias. In other words, they hate black people, which is just not true. Restorative justice. Restorative justice basically is another one of these lefty terms that is essentially what it boils down to is redistribution. Restorative justice. That's taking money from you and giving it to other people. And transparent citizen complaint disposition procedures. He wants comments from police on citizens' complaint dispositions. Well, I believe that most police departments have disciplinary boards, and they have procedures in place, and the police unions have procedures in place to deal with rogue officers and people who, should not be police officers being police officers, which is what produced the mayhem in Minneapolis back in May. Here in the Rochester Metro, we may all recall that we had a real mess in the Greece Police Department 10, 15 years ago, and that got handled very well, I think, by the enforcement mechanisms and structures that were in place. But not according to Andy. Andy wants more opportunities for community activists to tell the police how to do their jobs. So small wonder that nobody wants to do police work anymore.
Yeah, it's really interesting that so many people train to become police in Rochester, and then they leave the area and become police in other states. And I think some of that speaks to obviously how just terrible it is in New York to live here and work here. I take that back. Living here isn't the terrible part. I love the state. I love traveling. I love going to the Adirondacks. I love going to the Southern Tier, the Finger Lakes. The state that we have is beautiful, and we have so many wonderful people. We just have terrible policy, terrible leadership, and just awful, awful taxes. So I know that's like right off the bat, that's one of the issues. Then the other is the work environment is pretty crappy as well, especially for law enforcement. I gotta say that I don't see how any of this executive order is gonna make things better for police necessarily or the community. And I think this is the problem with government because government has gotten so large and so expanded that they think that they are the answer for problems. And here's the thing. There are certainly things that need to be changed and addressed in policing today. I believe that 100%, and I agree. We need to make some changes. I don't know that government has any idea how to implement those changes. They're just totally stuck there. It's just the same mundane job over and over again. They have no innovation. They have no idea. Whereas you see other parts in the open market, um, that we've fixed issues. You look at Uber. Uber and Lyft fixed problems with the taxi industry where people would tell me all the time they would take a cab, they would get overcharged, it would smell like puke and cigarettes in the back of the cab and just be disgusting, but there's no option. There's nothing available. Then came along Uber and Lyft and they implemented something so simple that fixed the problem. A review system. You could write a review about the person who gave you a drive. And then when somebody wanted to give you a ride, you could see their reviews and go, oh, the last four people said they were blasting music while giving them a ride and the car smelled funny. Like, I don't want that. I'm going to cancel this request.
Right. They all want the 5 stars.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's it do? It encourages the Uber drivers to be the best they can possibly be, to keep their cars clean, to be, kind and respectful and like good to their passengers. And this is something that government just can't see. This idea that, well, if we think that there are problems between the community and the police, then why not allow the community to grade the police and as they place a request, they can have a rating system or something like that. I'm not saying that's the exact answer, but what I'm saying is government is too bullheaded and too large to realize that we have innovative ways and innovative technology where we could actually have the police and other parts of government perform so much better than they do today and have the community be so much happier with them than they are today just by allowing the community to have say in allowing government to basically get out of the way. Stop with this top-down approach of like, I think I know everything, and go with the approach of, well, let the people decide. Let them use. There's already apps that you can use to contact the police. You don't have to call 911 anymore, and let them use that app. And an officer gets dispatched, and they go, you know what? Nope, I don't like the last few things that were left about this officer. I'm gonna cancel my request. It's not actually that important, which would save us a ton of taxpayer money, by the way. Or request somebody else. It's that simple. But you realize that by requesting somebody else, your wait time's gonna be longer, and that's just the reality. And I think that alone, eventually, you've got a couple of these officers that are the bad ones. The ones that everybody knows exist, the ones that their coworkers know they exist and know that that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. All of a sudden, those people are just sitting at the station and never get dispatched. And, well, the community has decided in a free market way which police they want to interact with and how they want to interact with them. And those other ones, they don't make it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. With all due respect, I'm not sure I agree with that because you can't call a competing police department if you don't like the service that you got from the one that you called last time. And I think that it would be very difficult to structure a community publicly accessible rating service a rating system for individual police officers because it would be so subject to abuse. I think.
Everything's subject to abuse. I mean, you could just not like the Uber driver because of the clothes he was wearing. Like, the market's overcome these issues, like decades ago. Government's just so slow.
We definitely agree on government should get out of it. And I think that what we have to do right now, you want to talk, if anything needs to be restorative, we have to have respect for police restored. And so the media narrative needs to stop, and we need to stop having no talent, low talent government leaders, mayors, district attorneys in all of these communities blaming everything on the police. It's just unwarranted. The police do not create crime. What we have is a feral kind of urban society where people are disconnected from consequences which should be visited upon them for bad behavior. People who like the Antifa types, the BLM types in communities who are creating all this violence need to be swiftly prosecuted to the maximum extent of the law, as opposed to the permissive attitude where you got these mayors and county executives who are, feeding the tiger, hoping he will eat them last.
Yeah. There's a lot of broken stuff out there. That's for sure. You've got a lot of civil unrest. You've got people trying to tear down the structure that exists today, and then you've got people who are saying, "Hey, wait, but what about me? Don't forget about me." I mean, there's a lot going on for sure. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Cuomo's writing a book. Got to tell you about it. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Greece to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we're better together, and together, we're moving business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whenever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. Guys, have seen Cuomo's painting, you've seen his poster. Well, now he's writing a book. Cuomo is writing a book. It is called American Crisis, a remarkable portrait of leadership during a crisis and a gritty story of the gut-wrenching choices that point the way to a safer future for us all.
Wait a minute. He wrote this about himself?
Yeah, the book's about him.
Can anybody say narcissism?
Yep.
OMG.
Yeah. So this book is going to be interesting, and here's the thing. I now feel like a moral dilemma with myself about this, because I want to buy the book because I know how cringy it's going to be, but I don't want to give him any more of my money, and I certainly don't want to buy the book and contribute to the numbers of his book sales, which they'll then say is a success.
Well, look, why don't you use one of the, listen, here's a tool that we have in our arsenal here, Andrew, as media types. You call the publisher and you ask him for a review copy.
Oh, okay.
All right. Host of a
we'll
daily
have to do
talk
that.
show. I would like to send me a review copy of Andrew's Enough About Me. Let's all read about me.
Yeah, exactly. So this book is pretty interesting. It's already drawn. It's not even supposed to come out until October 13th. So I don't know why so far out. I guess I haven't done a book with a publisher or anything like that. So I'm not sure why the scheduling is like that. I don't know if that's normal, abnormal, but it's not scheduled to come out for almost 60 days. And
You mean like right before the election?
yes, well, that part is on purpose for sure,
Ah.
100%. And I think he announced it, or had it announced like right after he spoke at the DNC. So clearly, like, using his position of power and elevated status to market this, which we all paid for, by the way, as taxpayers. But that's a different story there. It was this book by the publisher, by the way, has hailed it as a powerful testament to true leadership in times of extreme crisis.
That would be the publisher who wants to sell copies of this dopey book.
Yes, absolutely. They go on. They've got quite the this is Crown Books, by the way. They said this yesterday. In his own voice, Andrew Cuomo chronicles an American crisis, the ingenuity and sacrifice required of so many to fight the pandemic, sharing his personal reflections and the decision-making that shaped his policy, and offers his frank accounting and assessment of his interactions with the federal government and the White House, as well as other state and local political and health officials.
And I'm sure that there's going to be a full account in there of the nursing home issue, which, he's blocked an investigation into that. The Associated Press, which, by the way, is no friend to conservatives, has reported in the last 24 hours that New York's nursing home deaths from COVID, and directly attributable to Cuomo's execrable policies, probably more like 11,000 deaths as opposed to the 6,500 admitted by the state.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So it's fine. Cuomo's writing a book. Cuomo wrote a book. Either one. Expect it to be very political and to shift the blame on everybody but himself, for sure.
It won't be political.
Yeah.
It'll be informative.
Yeah, of course. The thing is, we're not through this coronavirus thing yet. So how do you write a book about your success through a pandemic when we haven't even turned the last page yet? Tomorrow, we could have a huge resurge in New York City, or anything else. A month from today, the news articles could read, "Wow, New York really, really screwed up here. Look at how much better all the other states did."
It wouldn't make at this point, Andrew, it wouldn't make any difference. Look at the death rate in New York. It's
Yeah,
a
no, I get
it's
it.
a multiple of any number of states that you could add together. It's the worst COVID track record in the country. But of course, the media is out there trotting the opposite narrative around because they have realized the truth in the totalitarians' playbook. That is, if you tell a lie that's big enough and you repeat it enough and you tell it with enough conviction, that you'll get a significant number of people to believe it. But it's a huge lie. It's a huge lie. Much like the lies that you're hearing all this week at the DNC virtual convention. I mean, Michelle Obama's speech was appalling. Not to get off the subject.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I heard some stuff about it. I actually think, Trump, for everything he is and for everything he isn't, the response I saw made me laugh pretty hard and pretty good.
It's just full of lies.
So,
It's everything of Russian collusion and children in cages and all the other nonsense. And how it's all the COVID deaths are Trump's fault. It's just stupid.
yeah. But I do want to, bring us back to Andrew Cuomo here because he's claiming success and leadership in something that isn't even done yet. And this book is going to go out and it's going to sell and people are going to
12
buy
copies.
12. No, I think he's going to get in the millions. I think it's going to happen. I think people are going to spend money on this.
On
You don't think
Cuomo's
so?
book? Seriously?
Yeah, well, I see people in other states worshiping Cuomo.
Well, you're seeing
I see them.
You're seeing liberals in other states worshiping.
I think there's at least 1 million of them that are going to buy the book. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. We'll see. I think he's going to sell a lot of copies of this book. I think it's going to be complete garbage. And I gotta say, I mean, it'll be interesting. I can't wait to see some of the quotes in this book. It's gonna make my stomach churn for sure.
Well, I think that you could probably count on the DNC to buy a whole bunch of copies of the book, depending on how his fortunes are going politically, because that's what they did with Hillary Clinton's. Remember what happened? I remember. I think it was 10 days or 2 weeks after Hillary Clinton's book was released. It was on the end cap in Target. I was at Target for some reason. It was there for $3.99. This is a book that retailed for $23.99 or $29.99, and it was there for $3 or $4 on an end cap, like a clearance. So I would expect a similar performance. With all due respect, I know you think it's going to sell 1 million. They would sell probably 990,000 to the DNC, who would buy it back. But no.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know anything about how many people have bought the poster. I should maybe look at that. But I suspect that the people who purchase it will definitely there's going to be people that just buy into it because they already are. You have these people walking around that think that he's just walking on water with his COVID response. And he doesn't even follow his own instructions, which is, a whole other topic and a whole other bit of discussion. So it'll be interesting to see if he contradicts himself in his own book.
Oh, I think you can count on it.
Yeah, I think so. And then there's that other question of, is this even an ethical thing to do while you're sitting in office, writing a book and using your position in office to market and sell your book? Because this is the same type of stuff that people accuse Trump of, where they say, oh, Trump is like, fluffing up his business or this or that, and using his position in the presidency to like market and push things that are either his own or friends of his or donors of his. Isn't Cuomo doing the same exact thing right now by writing and publishing this book about himself in office, and then where are the proceeds of those funds going to go?
I don't think there's going to be any proceeds to distribute. I don't think it's anything that we have to worry about, to be honest with you. But
yeah, it could be. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll give it a couple months, see what happens. But I still think it's unethical. I don't think he should be doing it. So, Guys, you're listening to Radio Free New York. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow.
An experienced professional with more than 15 years in dentistry, Dr. David Olivo welcomes new patients to his family practice at 2005 Lyle Avenue. At the office of Dr. Olivo, you'll discover a warm and comforting environment staffed by professionals who are committed to providing the best available dental care while assuring your complete comfort. Call 328-3382 for an appointment. Dr. David Olivo, offering quality dentistry with a gentle touch.
Ready to Respond Training Services offers CPR, AED, and first aid training across Western New York and beyond. High-quality training from top educators and instructors who have worked in the EMS field. For more information, call 585-281-4208 or visit readytorespond.net. Inform, engage, equip. Ready to Respond Training Services. 585-281-4208.
You're listening to the voice of liberty. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 W221CL Rochester, FM 95.5 W238DE Spencerport.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm